As cases surge, COVID testing continues to be a major challenge. Rapid tests are nearly impossible to find in the store, and the wait to be tested at urgent care centers in the area is often very long. 13 WHAM's Chase Howell spoke to one mom who was turned away, she says, multiple times. Chase?
Jenny, there are just not enough tests available to meet the growing demand. Even with the state opening up a COVID-19 testing center at the YMCA, some saying it's just a drop in the bucket of what's needed. Parents, students, and residents of Monroe County continue to scramble to find COVID-19 tests.
For people that need to go to work, for people that need to send their children to school, and to not have the ability to get these tests, it's horribly frustrating and awfully disappointing.
Michele Domina was turned away from 2 different urgent cares when trying to get her son a PCR test so he could return to school.
I watched dozens upon dozens of people being turned away. They looked sick. It looked like it was very frustrating to them. They were communicating that the at-home tests were not available at different pharmacies.
Monroe County Executive Adam Bello agreeing to having a short supply of COVID-19 tests, putting blame on national and global leaders when it comes to their handling of the pandemic.
This has been an enormous failure at the federal level and, frankly, the global level to have enough tests available early on.
Bello also mentioning the success the county has seen as far as the amount of test kits it's received, even admitting it's just not enough, but they're doing what they can with what they have.
Testing in Monroe County has been more available than other places, but make no mistake, there has not been enough tests here across the country to deal with what we're dealing with right now. But we're going to keep doing everything we can.
It's not just COVID-19 test kits that are on short supply. So are KN95 masks. The county receiving 330,000 of those masks from New York State, but only to be distributed to essential workers. As far as when the general public can receive some, that will depend on if there's extra.
We're looking to make sure that we can do everything we can to get those KN95 masks. And if we get a surplus supply and we get plenty, we want to make sure that we get those out to the community. That is our goal.
I do want to note that Domina did check out Monroe County test sites, and the next available appointment was January 10th. But Bello did say today that residents are able to get tested without an appointment at county test sites.
With Omicron cases doubling in Monroe County since yesterday, the city school district is not the only one dealing with staff and student absences. Good evening. I'm Jenny Ryan.
And I'm Doug Emblidge. You heard from that mom there. We also spoke with several suburban school districts today. They are taking note of the city schools' decision to return to remote learning tomorrow. But so far, no other districts are going there.
As 13 WHAM's Carla Rogner reports tonight, for city school staff and families, it's time to adjust again. Carla?
Yeah, the district will decide on Monday whether or not students can come back to the classroom on Tuesday. But some teachers I spoke with today believe it will likely take longer than that to restore a safe environment in schools.
I think it's disappointing that it's taken them so long to make this decision and that we've had so many people who have been exposed to danger for this long.
Maureen Duhan, a special education teacher, says it's been chaotic since students returned from winter break. At East High School, one English teacher said she was missing 2/3 of her students.
We all prefer in-person learning, and we all think in-person learning is what's best for kids. But we want to do it when it's safe.
It wasn't just the schools. The district's transportation department was also hard hit with absences. Many drivers have been asked to pick up extra routes.
I get the route sheet. There was about 15, 16 stops. I went to every single stop and only one child got on. But that made our kids like an hour and 20 minutes late.
The district says the move to remote learning is temporary and students could return to class as soon as Tuesday. But the head of the teachers union believes it should last until the Omicron surge has passed.
Our goal is to return to in-person learning as soon as the district has taken the time to truly develop an effective plan.
The move to remote learning is bringing back familiar challenges to many parents.
It kind of hurts because last year is challenging. And I'm just scared because, especially for my daughter who receives the special services, it's going to be hard. And I'm just scared, that it's going to last longer than Tuesday.
The needs of families weighed heavily on Superintendent Dr. Leslie Myers-Small, who made the call for remote learning.
We recognize that this could be burdensome, and that's why my hope is that it will only be for a few days so that we can shift back fully to in-person learning.
Tomorrow, we will get an update on the situations in area schools from Monroe County Council of School Superintendents Bo Wright. Again, so far, RCSD is the only district in the county going remote.
Optimism on the horizon that the pandemic might be ending. Jane Chaco spoke to infectious disease specialists about how the latest variant could be a sign that the worst is behind us.
As infection spreads at a seemingly faster rate than ever before, the end doesn't seem near. But there is hope, and it lies in the severity of infection.
If you have a breakthrough infection and you basically get a cold, that's okay. I mean, it's a problem from infection control. You could still spread it around. But on a personal basis, I think that's a vaccine success.
The number of unvaccinated patients in the hospital with COVID largely outpaced the vaccinated. At Rochester General Hospital, 22 patients are in the ICU with COVID. 20 didn't get the shot and 2 did. At URMC, Dr. Ann Falsey says almost every patient on a ventilator is unvaccinated. She says vaccinated patients have a lower rate of respiratory failure.
The majority are colds. Some people don't feel well. They have fevers and they're achy and they go to bed, but only for like a day or so.
This doesn't mean Omicron is not as serious as previous strains. Doctors say as immunity builds, either through infection or vaccination, hospitals could see some relief.
Not herd immunity that's going to get rid of it completely, but that we're not going to have these devastating waves of hospitalization and death.
As for the future, doctors say the pandemic will someday become an endemic, where COVID is around, but it won't be like 2020.
And it may mean getting a vaccine every year or at some, predefined period. But that we'll have to see.
Jane Chaco, 13 WHAM News.
And doctors say COVID symptoms for vaccinated people may seem like the flu. The only way to know for sure is to get tested.